Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Delight and Fright.
Welcome.
Yes, it's very nice to see everybody. I am just DMing our guests for today just to make sure you got the link and everything's good to go. Other than that, Kat, how's your day been going today?
It's been good. I
Yeah?
took the time to get some fresh ink, but I got to go back
Oh,
after
our
to
live.
my
Nice.
owl.
What are you getting? What are you getting done so far?
I got this owl here.
Oh,
He's very blue, and there's trees in the background.
yeah. Okay.
He's looking very intense. I
Yeah,
like
no, it's looking
it.
it's looking really good. Thank you for showing us.
No
Yay,
worries.
we have our guest. Let me
Yay!
introduce, without further ado, we have our lovely, lovely guest. How are you, Damon? This is
Good.
yeah, did I say that right, Damon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. I don't want to butcher anybody's names. I already have tallies on that.
Good for you.
Yes. So, you are the creator of Slasher.
I am.
Awesome. Well, it's lovely to have with you in chat. We have a lineup for you, and we're going to discuss several things: tech, AI, robot takeovers. We have a lot of good stuff today. Let's get the show started. Kat, you wanna start the questions?
Yes, David. I'm sorry if I accidentally slip into Damien. It just happens,
It's okay.
especially with horror fans, right?
I get it a lot, so it's totally fine.
Awesome. So, first off, what kind of inspired you to do a horror, specifically horror social networking app, and why did you feel that that was necessary for you to do?
Um, it was just with all the noise in the mainstream, it was just really difficult to find things easily. You know, especially when you're looking for a lot of different things. You might be looking for podcasts, you might be looking for movies, you might be looking for books. Everything is just so scattered everywhere. And with everything else that's out there, it's super difficult to find. So so that combined with a lot of the mainstream social platforms just taking issue with horror, um, it was something I just decided, you know what, I think it'd be really great to have something like this, so that way we can just find each other more easily and just have more stuff that we can enjoy.
Awesome.
That
I'm
makes
definitely
sense.
loving it. And the new
Yeah.
update is working real smooth, and I'm looking forward to whatever you have next. I did receive it was a little while ago something about Slasher TV. Are you looking to be a streaming platform as well?
No, that's actually just a domain name. But I figured,
Okay.
because the .com was taken, and
Mm.
they wanted some like ridiculous amount of money for it. So I was like, you know what, TV would be kind of cool.
There you
Um,
go.
but I mean, streaming is a really tricky thing, and unless you get it right, there are a lot of things that can happen to cause problems. So, if I do anything right away, it's going to be more like people will be able to upload like their own videos and stuff like that. Like like the short form, like 60-second type videos and things like that. But even that, I'm still trying to figure out like, okay, how do we do this without it costing a ridiculous amount of money every time
Mhm.
somebody streams one of the 60-second clips. So it's interesting. There's a lot of moving parts. There's all the infrastructure, like the servers and the bandwidth and the storage. Um, so just understanding the economics of all that, it's it's quite a lot. But I like to learn, and I like to see like how to make things work and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what do we do just even for like, members to just upload stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's something I'm checking into.
And then it's a delicate balance, I'm sure. You don't have that Facebook
Yeah.
funding, that Facebook money, but then if you were to reach out and get more sponsors, then you'd owe them, right? They'd own your soul, and we don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally good with advertisers. I prefer that they're relevant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So doing stuff like that, I think is a lot of fun. But that's also a balance, right? We want to make sure that we've got plenty of members, so that way when people do run ads, they get good responses and results and stuff like that. Everything is, and we've got a lot, but it's that's also an interesting balance. So we're still working on all these different moving parts to get it all working smoothly together, but it's getting there.
Nice. How long did it take you to develop the app? I mean, it's a really beautiful
Um,
app, and I really like the user interface. Did it take you a long time to develop that?
um, Current stuff was like the designs were relatively quick, but they kind of evolved as it went on. Like I basically come up with the concept for the features. I say, okay, this is a feature I want to have. This is how it needs to work, and then I pass it off to other people. Um, so the first person I passed it off to was the designer. They would take a look at it and go, okay, I need to account for all these elements and design UI to make all these things work together. Um, and then, I basically have to tell them, okay, when you click this, it has to do this, and when you do this, this has to change to this color, and so a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that UX type stuff, the user experience stuff, comes into play. That's primarily what I do.
Mm.
But and then once we have the designs, then I sort of sit down and look at them and just imagine if I'm clicking on stuff, like what happens if you do this? What happens if you do this? Where do you go? And like I have to play the whole thing through in my mind just to make sure everything's gonna work.
Yeah, that makes a
You
lot
know,
of sense.
yeah. Then after that, then it just goes to the developers. Um, I give them usually some kind of technical info and explain like, okay, this is the UX, this is how it needs to work. Go, and then
Yeah,
they'll send me stuff and I'll test it out. And usually we have to go through a few iterations just to like work things out because sometimes I overlook stuff, sometimes they overlook stuff. So there's just like there's a little bit of give and take there, but
yeah.
it's cool, it's fun.
How did you get the idea for the slasher app? Was it like a collaboration with a few friends or?
Right. Not really. I mean, I was going to a lot of the area horror conventions and just going to all those things and then finding out like, hey, there was another convention last weekend nearby, and I was like, oh shit, I missed it. Just that sort of thing. Or a lot of my vendor friends not knowing about some of the other conventions. It was like, all right. Um, So the first thing I did is I actually started a group calendar, like this shared online calendar for people with like all the conventions in the U.S. and even some in Canada,
Mhm.
like horror adjacent stuff like Comic Cons and tattoo conventions and stuff like that. Um, I just put them all together and was like, you know, there's a lot more to this. So then I just sat down and started writing all these ideas. and all these features and stuff like that. Like, what would I want to see as a horror fan? Like, so it just kind of like snowballed, and writing and writing and writing. And I mean, I've got features and stuff like that that we could continue making for years. There is so much stuff that like people don't even know about, and it's one of those things that just like, because I know about it, it just drives me nuts. Going like, you people don't know anything. Like, you have no idea what's down the road, and it's just like, it drives me crazy because I'm like, I know there's all these really cool things, and then like people aren't getting to experience that yet, and that drives me nuts because I'm like, everyone needs to check this out. Like, there's going to be some really awesome stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was really it. Just kind of like this need to figure things out, to put things together, and just to kind of bring everyone closer together, really, you know.
Awesome. So how many users are you looking at now, and how many do you gain estimate, each day? I know every day, I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah, there's, I don't know how many new ones there are a day now. Like, a while ago when I checked, there was like something like 100 something a day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even like marketing yet. We're not advertising. We're not really promoting much. Um, I don't really go into how many we have. Like, I'm waiting to hit a specific milestone, and then it'll be a little bit. I'll feel a little,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, more confident that I've reached a goal.
Yeah.
Um, but there are tens of thousands. I could put it to that.
Nice. I can tell there's plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
being on it a little while, I've accumulated so many friends, and I love that. They're there for you. There's no limit to how many people you can friend request in a certain period of time. That's super annoying. It's like, look,
Yeah.
they can say no. It's like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have an option. I'm
No,
not
I
a
know what you mean.
robot.
Yeah, we found that rather annoying. We have been trying to push our stuff pretty heavily recently, and
Yeah.
Instagram was like, "Stop adding so many people," and they put us on a timeout, like we were
They were like,
children.
no.
It's weird because if people are interested, and it was people that were trying to follow you, it's so
Yeah,
weird. Like, why would you would
No,
think
it's
that?
us trying to follow other people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're putting more content into your feed, so like, you're gonna look at more ads, and that's how they make money. And you're gonna give them more data, which is they sell all your data. I
Hmm.
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
it's that's weird. Um,
I'm sure it's just something to do with their genetic
yeah,
algorithms that they have for, thinking of somebody as a bot,
yeah.
and they thought I was a bot. I was clicking too fast.
It's possible. That's the thing. Like, they really use a lot of AI to moderate their platform. Um,
Mm,
and it's difficult because when you don't have people looking at stuff and going, oh, okay, yeah, no, they're fine or whatever. Like, you need context, and
Yeah,
AI isn't really. It's not good enough to understand context in the ways that you and I would. You know. So hopefully, either companies start improving AI, or they start using people to moderate things
yeah.
that are a little bit more tricky. Horror can be tricky, but a lot of things can. They don't understand when people are joking around or when they're being sarcastic or whatever. Like,
Mm,
so there's a lot of stuff that happens as a result of just you know AI not understanding. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but we don't use
and
And
any of
how
that.
many moderators do you currently have?
There's a few. I mean, there's not like tons, but
Not
fortunately, we
many.
don't need tons. Yeah, I mean,
mhm.
Nice.
everybody's really, really cool. We've been extremely fortunate in that way. Like, everyone's just super nice, and the few people we do get here and there that just, you know, for whatever reason have to act out. we just deal with it.
Mhm.
We do what we have to do. We don't like
Hmm.
getting rid of people because it doesn't benefit anybody. But
Hmm.
if it benefits the community as a whole, then we do what we have to do because it's
Yeah,
really about
maybe,
keeping everybody happy and having a good time.
Yeah.
exactly, maybe they need help. Maybe they're reaching out.
Yeah.
Suicide prevention is very important. So, we don't want
Right.
to just cut them out, but absolutely, I love that.
Well, no, I mean that's true too. But when somebody does talk about things like that, um, usually we have a message with some information that we share with them. Because
Nice.
like we don't want to see people hurt or upset or anything like that. It's definitely no fun to feel that way or to be in that position. Um, so we do our best when we see things to say, look, here's some options, here's some resources for you. Please take a second and see if this can work for you. Um, I think
That's
that's
awesome.
yeah. I mean, we definitely do our best. There's a lot of stuff that we have to make sure that we're paying attention to,
Mhm.
and it's important to take care of.
I have a question since you did mention AI. Is that something that you're looking into for your platform? Or you like, no, AI is terrible, it's the worst thing in the world? Or are you
Um,
maybe considering it in the as a possibility?
I really like to have an open mind about everything. So, I've already had a couple of conversations um, about AI moderation and things like that, but not in the same way that other platforms use it because I already know how they're using it and it's failing. Um, I'm looking at it more as, something that could augment and help us find things that could be issues and then, deal with them that way. So it's really more of something that could just bring things to our attention than necessarily just deal with. Um, it's not something that I'm looking to do anytime soon, but at some point it's a possibility. I mean, I kind of like having people handle everything. But having something simple like that and automated as a frontline thing that can handle, just hey, here's something you might want to check out, see how it works, and then just take it from there. But it's not anything that's going to happen anytime soon.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. It's always very interesting to see a individual's perspective on AI because a lot of people
Mhm.
are like so against it or super for it. So it's always very good to gauge an individual by their feelings on AI, I feel.
Yeah.
And
It can be a good tool if you use it right, but it's like
mhm.
anything else. Um,
Hmm.
Splitting the atom could have been a great tool as well, and it is, but it also has a major downside to it. Um, so you kind of have to take things and figure out, okay, how can you use these things in beneficial ways? Um,
Yeah.
People are always going to find a way to do something shitty, but it's just like, okay, let's 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 do our best to make something good out of this, and that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, I don't I don't take issue with using AI for certain things. I don't think that AI should replace people as artists because that takes all of the humanity out of the art and makes it something that's really, it's not going to do the same things, have the same impact, have the same effect as art that a person would make. Um, because AI doesn't have emotions or feelings and can't necessarily express them. It can only kind of sort of replicate information. It can look
Hmm.
at a visual style of art and go, I could do something like that, and it can. But to make something truly original and meaningful, I mean, I haven't seen it do anything really like that. Um,
Hmm.
so it's more like mimicking things for the most part. Um, I've seen it create some stories and things like that, and like the stories were well written, but they were all very derivative. So like
They don't
it's
really have
cool,
the life experience yet.
right? And there's yeah, exactly. They're just very very kind of like thin. They're not very they don't have a lot of depth to them. They don't have a lot of originality to them. They just kind of take elements from here and there and combine them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's sometimes how art is created, but it just doesn't have that same thing that could really make people connect with one another.
Yeah. Personally, I feel the same way. I think
Mm,
AI can be useful for like um helping you write code. If one day you're like, oh, there's a computer code in here that I'm not, something's wrong. There's a zero or something that's wrong, and AI can
right.
jump in there and say, oh, here's where it is. Where
Yeah.
it's more of
Yeah.
like a mechanical assistant or maybe an engineering assistant or mathematical assistant, but not a
Right.
replacement to that professional, that engineer, that mathematician, more of like a guide or an assistant.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that
Great.
was well said, Damon, the way you explained that. I believe, AI is helpful, but I don't want to piss it off. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations that it's like, yeah, you're cool, AI. Yeah, Just don't want to make it angry, just in case, Skynet, I'm always cautious.
It's funny you mentioned that because that was one of my questions actually. I was watching 2001 Space Odyssey over the weekend, and
Oh, good. Okay.
this yeah, this question has been lingering since before computers were a thing, where how kind of he is tasked the mission. He doesn't care if he kills Dave and everybody else. He just has that mission. So he has no ethics. So ethics and AI was always a big question. So I do want to ask, horror and a lot of genres have had a lot of share of robot and machine uprisings. Since you work with technology yourself,
Mhm.
I want to know your take on any possible like uprisings or potential for machines, robots that can also involve AI, and that becoming like a, oh yeah, we messed up there.
Um, I think if so, in order to do things like that, there's a lot of puzzle pieces, right?
Hmm.
Um, it would have to understand what those pieces are and how to put them together. Um, I do think that there needs to be some sort of regulation that either sandboxes it or does something to keep it contained, because you really don't want something like that to just get out into the wild and start making decisions that aren't driven by people. Even you don't want it making decisions driven by people too sometimes either. But um, so yeah, I mean, I do think that rules need to be put in place just to keep things reasonable at least. But it, you'll have people arguing on both sides for various reasons, and I'm sure both of them will have good reasons. But I don't see any harm in maintaining a dedicated space for it that's designed for its purpose only. I don't believe it should be, able to replicate itself. I don't think that it should be able to, you know, move itself to other places, or move itself everywhere at once. I don't think that it really should be able to have that degree of instability
Hmm.
uh, for us. So for example, if it decided one day that um, want to explore the entire internet, and it somehow manages to replicate itself and put itself literally everywhere, I don't know if something like that is possible. I mean, you have cloud computing, which is sort of, to some degree, kind of, you know, make that possible. But and there's different kinds of apps and stuff like that that people use that essentially do that. So why couldn't AI do something like that while making its own decisions in theory?
Right.
You know, I suppose it's possible, but how likely is it? I have no idea. You know, I'm not really in any of these, like, you know, closed door meetings when people are discussing, okay, how's this going to work and what are we going to do? And like these people are like, they're really like on the edge of technology, um, and figuring out how to replicate that to some degree. Um, so you know, I think that I think we just have to be mindful. You know, we have to be thoughtful of how we do these things and maintain them, manage them, and it'll be fine.
I mean, I think we're at the point now where we can 3D print organs, but we just can't 3D print a heart because the capillaries are too small to be able to
Mhm.
print. Do you think maybe that would be a thing in the future? Maybe we would be able to, and if so, do you believe it should be done?
Well, I mean, first of all, if something is for the betterment of humanity, I'm for it. I think that that
Hmm.
would be fantastic if that's something that could be done. Um, you know, the one thing to keep in mind is that technology always progresses. Um, as long as people are making some kind of an effort, it's going to progress because we're going to constantly have new needs as existing technology slows down and we find new things that we can do or we want to do based on older stuff. So, you know, like we're heading towards quantum computing, and that's something I'm personally excited for because I think that that's going to do a lot. But when it comes to things like organ printing and stuff like that, I definitely think it's possible. I mean, it could be that just the technique that they're using to print right now, maybe they find a better one, you know, maybe
Hmm.
they're able to reach a smaller scale. Um, you know, there's so many things that can happen. It just depends on the people who are looking into these things and that, you know, the people who can just have that moment where that realization comes to them where they go, this is how we make this. Um, so I mean, I do think anything like that is possible. We just have to figure out how.
Hmm. And I think we're working through that through art and film and entertainment. You know, we're working on all those types of things so that we're preparing ourselves, and that's what I think the horror community is important, right?
Yeah.
So you know, speaking of going into film, and what are some of your horror film inspirations, loves?
Hmm. Let's see. Well, Poltergeist was one of the first ones I've ever seen. And I think I was like 9 or something at the time, and we had just gotten cable, and you know, we just started watching it. And I was just kind of mesmerized by the whole thing. You know, I hadn't really been exposed to much horror before that, really. You know, maybe like little bits of sci-fi or something like that, but um, nothing like that. And I never really thought about. I never really thought of it. It was just like, well, this movie's got a story. It's designed to scare me. Cool, you know, and it did. It scared the shit out of me. But um, but I also didn't realize that there was kind of an unwritten rule that kids were off limits. And of course, Poltergeist, that was not the case. And I was like, oh my god, what the f- is happening here? So, um, so to have that as like be my first experience, that was mind blowing for sure. Um, but I mean, like having that, and then like so when I was younger, I didn't like. I think Halloween 3 was actually the first one I saw, so I didn't realize that there was a Michael Myers because I hadn't seen the previous two. So I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. So all my life I love Halloween 3 because I just you know it's a fun, weird, wacky movie, and again, the damn kids
Yes.
in this tremendous role with like watching all the wrong things at that age. But no, and then Nightmare on Elm Street came out, and that was a big deal because like Freddy was like this new character. Like
Mhm.
we didn't really have anybody new since the '70s or something like that. So it was a few years before there was anything like different. We had Jason, we had
Mm.
Michael, we had Leatherface, um, we had like The Exorcist, but I mean that's not really
Mhm.
a character like that. But yeah, I mean Freddy was the first one um that came out like when I was really like aware and interested in that sort of thing. So it was
And
kind of
he was in
cool.
your dreams, so literally when you had nightmares,
Yeah,
he was there waiting for you.
Ooh.
exactly. Um,
And one of Luna's favorites is Halloween 3.
Yes, I will.
nice.
I will forever get crap for it, but if you think about it this way, John Carpenter wanted to make these movies anthologies, right?
Yep,
Their own separate things. So
yep,
if you look at them as completely separate movies without the Michael Myers attachment to it, it's a
yeah,
great story. And that can be
yeah.
applicable to today. You got an evil corporation killing children. Look
Yeah.
around you,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know,
No, it's
all
true.
the poisons and stuff. I mean, not to get like sidetracked or anything like that, but all the poisons and
Mhm.
stuff they put on the food and stuff.
And the
Well,
advertising to get the kids all interested in these masks
yeah,
Oh yeah.
while they're
yeah,
watching their cartoons. There they are.
yeah, that was something else. Um, I don't watch that again soon. It's been a little while. Somebody just posted about it today. They were like, "Yeah, it's time." I was like, "Yeah, it is
It's time for what? For
for Halloween 3."
oh yeah. It's
Yeah,
always time for Halloween 3.
it really is. It really kind of is.
So,
Um,
we got the pleasure of seeing Tom Atkins do a Halloween 3 panel at the last horror convention we went to. And I got
nice.
a recording, which I'll upload later after the show, of Tom Atkins singing the 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween. I got him singing it, so I'll upload that. I still have it in my
That's
phone.
fun.
So
That's
that's like
awesome.
really, yes. People were like, sing it. Tom Atkins was like, okay.
He was a good sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Uh, and speaking of trilogies, I feel the same way about Alien 3. I think
Mm,
on its own, it's an amazing film and it has a
mm,
lot to say about society. But by itself or within the franchise, is you're like, wait, what's going on now? No, no, the little girl's gone. No, again with the kids. Why? Why the kids?
right.
Yes.
Yeah, that it was like the whole second movie was just kind of like, well, never mind.
Mhm.
And then you had the opposite. You had Children of the Corn that were kids killing adults
Yeah.
and everybody. Ooh, they didn't care. Show up to their cornfield, you're gone. That
Yeah.
was a little rough.
Creepy kids. Like for me, like that part in Pet Cemetery. Wanna
Mm,
play? I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, no. It creeps me out to no end.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Something about creepy children. Mm.
Mm.
And I'm glad.
Because it's like they don't have any like, well, they don't have much morals, ethics. They're just like, whatever. I kill you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, we don't
Yeah,
know how real things are to them just yet.
yeah, the kids are blank slates, and I personally, I like that horror tends to leave pets alone, except for Pet Cemetery. But
No,
it's in
he
the
came
title.
back. The cat came back.
That is true. That is
Yeah,
nice. Well,
I'm
okay,
always
so
like
what would it be like? The Thing? Was that?
the
Yeah.
mm,
Maybe?
the thing
No.
is not like a pet, or it's more like a creature.
Yeah, no,
It's
but
a thing.
did it get the dog? I can't remember if it got the dog.
No, it did get the
Uh,
dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, like,
yeah,
And Cujo, that was
Cujo.
terrifying.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I saw that when I was a kid too. Oh man.
Oh, you saw
Like,
all the
yeah,
traumatizing ones.
I really did. Like, I really, really. Oh God.
Wow. And is there any other hobbies that you like other than like horror and coding and all this like techie stuff that you do? Like, do you play guitar and do you do anything cool? Sound mixing?
I used
Did
to.
you do anything cool, Billy Luna? It's so funny.
Anything
He does
cool?
lots of cool things.
Well,
He's super
yeah, but
cool.
I meant other cool stuff like sound
I'm just
mixing,
teasing you,
guitar.
hard. I just like messing with.
Yeah, I used to do music a lot. I think I started when I was like 14 or something like that. I started playing guitar around then, and then I was in like a bunch of different bands and stuff, and just did a whole bunch of that sort of thing for a while.
Hmm.
And like the last time I really worked on anything was probably a year ago. Um,
Oh,
like I don't feel the same way about it as I used to. Um, it was more of a way for me to express myself and just sort of exercise those demons. But
yeah.
Rage.
I mean, yeah, I really haven't had the need for it. I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
So I used to do like a lot of that. I
You
like
play any video games?
yes, I do play video games whenever I'm able to. Um, so there's this game that I like to play called Earth Defense Force, and it's like this 50s
What?
sci-fi horror movie, where
Nice.
it's like there's like giant ants and giant spiders and like these giant
Giant
frog
bunnies.
aliens. Yeah, there's like all kinds of like crazy giant stuff
Nice.
that's just trying to get you, and you just have to like kill all of them.
Nice.
Like
Any
yeah,
paper
that's
plates? Any painted paper plates coming at you? No.
there are there's like I mean they're a little more elaborate than that, but yeah, there's like you have to
Nice.
shoot these bows down. It's a lot of fun. I like weird fun games like that. I know some of my
Nice.
friends were talking about like Diablo 4 and like Diablo 3 I had played and I was like I loved that game. So hopefully at some point I'll get to check out Diablo 4, but right now if I get to play like for maybe an hour a week, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
That's
I
been
like. Hmm?
that's been my obsession, the Diablo 4. But same,
Nice.
I never get to play as much as I want. But the cool thing about it is you don't feel that you need to. You just
Hmm.
kill some monsters and enjoy what you can while you can, and then it's very therapeutic.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So you like it so far?
Love it, love it. And I'm all about. I love being able to have a horse, and then of course I want all the great mounts and all the different horses. And my husband spoils me sometimes and buys a few here and there for me. And I'm like, oh, for
Cool.
some reason, no matter what he does, he keeps getting new mounts. It's the most annoying thing. Like, he'll do anything, boom, new mount, boom. He's not even trying. I haven't got nothing that I haven't been able had to buy. I'm like, what the? Why? It just loves you, apparently. It just says, I'm going to give you a mount. You're awesome. I'm like, all right, fine. So that's just our running joke we got going on. I'm like, every time he plays, I'm like, oh, what mount do you have now?
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm on the Blizzard bandwagon, but unfortunately, it's World of Warcraft, and I've been playing it since 2010, and I have not stopped. So
That's cool.
yeah, I've been trying to taper myself off of World of Warcraft, so I only do like an hour a day here and there. But I'm like, yeah, 10, 11 years. What? Well, no, it's 20. Oh my God, it's 2023 now. So what? 13 years of World of Warcraft. Oh yeah.
Nice.
I don't want to do the math on how much money I spent on the game. I'd probably
Wow.
go crazy.
I get it.
Do you
I
have a
totally-
bunch of characters or just the same character?
I mostly just play on my mage because I like her. I think she's a blood elf. She's really regal and pretty, and I'm like, eh. I get to role play as a mage, and I'm like, I'm a magister. Shoot, shoot. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's pretty much my video game extent right now, and Animal Crossing. But I build a few things. I talk to my villagers. I make sure they have food and water, and that's
Clean out the roaches in your house, stomp them
yeah,
down.
yeah. That's the extent of my gameplay right now in my village on Animal Crossing. But that's cool. That's good to have some gamers in the house. It's always
Mhm.
nice to do something like that because there's a lot of horror video games too. I don't know if you've heard of this game called 7 Days to Die, but it's really really fun. It's like Minecraft and zombies. And then on the seventh day, there's like a blood moon. I think I don't know. It's called something weird. It's like blood moon or something like that. And all the zombies get crazy. So you have
Oh,
7 days
great.
to plan. Yeah, you have 7 days to plan to survive for the seventh day. And on day 2, I already died. So I'm like, fuck.
And then the zombies get crazier.
Yes, but on the
Great.
seventh night, they like crazy, like
Are they fast?
fast. They come in
Forget it.
hordes. They come in waves. So you get you need like
I can't do the fast zombies. If they're fast, I'm just gonna be like, I surrender. Come and get it. I'm not. No, there's no way I'm surviving very long.
yeah. From day 1 to 6, they're slow and they come in like waves. They come here and there, and more at night, obviously. But on day 7, they're just like running and coming and coming and coming. You gotta fortify your stuff before the 7th day, so it's kind of stressful. So I play it very solemn because it's just like kind of intense.
Is that on Steam?
Yeah, it's on Steam.
What's it called? 7
7
days?
days. 7 days to die.
Okay.
You should check it out. Come crash in my village. See if we can make it to the 7th day.
Nice. Yeah,
it's-
those ones I get too nervous, and then I'm just like, like I was doing the alien one, and I'm just like, it's gonna get me, and I just get all nervous.
And the worst part about 7 Days to Die, I mean, probably for some of our viewers, it might be a good thing, but you start out naked. You gotta find
Fun.
clothes. You start out naked. You start out with no weapons, and they just plop you in the I don't know in the world, and you're like no clothes, no weapons, no nothing. You gotta literally like Minecraft, start from scratch, fortify everything, build everything, and then the tutorial is good because it does teach you how to build like weapons, axes, stuff like that. So it's nice. At least they give you that. So it's
Do they give you any backstory? Do they give you any backstory about like how you got there naked?
I don't know. I never looked into it, but you just end up naked and you gotta find clothes, I guess. Or you can. Well, it's funny because if you stay naked for too long and it gets nighttime, You start freezing and your character's just
Oh,
shivering, and then your health bar goes on, and you get screwed. So
that's
it's kind of like real life, like a lot. You gotta eat in this video
Hmm.
game, and if you eat stuff that's like moldy, you'll get sick for like 3 hours. You'll be throwing up, and then you won't be able to do anything. So it's like it's pretty intense. It's like real life also too, because you got to be careful what you eat, your
Hmm.
clothes. If it's raining, then you get fatigue. If you run too much, you get thirsty. All the things that you suffer in the real world, yeah,
ugh.
you'll get it in 7 days also.
So speaking of tutorials, Damon, have you ever thought of, or is there many, and I just didn't see them, any tutorials on different features of your app and how to use them? Or is that something you're thinking of maybe
Well,
adding?
that's one of the things I've been slacking on. So I need to do something because I think the help section is a little bit dated. I mean, some of it's still applicable, but like, yeah, I need to make some videos or something. That would be really helpful. Um, I've been, I don't know if I'm fortunate or people are just leaving, but like, not many people have actually asked. So it's kind of cool that you have because I'm just like, I need to do something. Like, I need to make something where people can see, like, this is how you do this, and this is how you do this, and like, here are the things you can do. So, but it's weird because it's like I'm trying to see the forest for the trees, you know? Like I know all the features and everything, but like I'm gonna forget how to explain like half of them because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like second nature to me at this point. Um, but yeah, no, I would like to put some videos together, just like green grabs and just show people like this is how you do that. Um, this is how you tag somebody in a post, or this is how you make a post, or this is how you go and rate some of the movies. Just that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Nice, because there's a lot of things. I'm a big, what does this button do? And I poke around until I eventually see
Yeah,
what this
yeah,
button does. But eventually, sometimes I get frustrated, and I'm like, forget it. I don't got time for this. Like more of the complicated things that you have options, I think would be very helpful. At least for me, I don't know how it is for others, but there's like the main part where you click on podcast because I'd love to put information about our
yeah.
podcast on that area, but it doesn't do anything. I'm just like, okay, okay,
Right.
all right.
I know. Yeah. So that feature. So we're actually in the process of rebuilding the podcast area and the booked areas. So
Okay,
those two are getting totally overhauled, and they're going to be like extremely interactive. So like
nice.
podcasts, people will be able to list their podcast and have like pages and stuff. They'll also be able to bring episodes in so that way people could listen on the app or on the website. They'll be able to have people comment on them. You'll be able to also have posts for the podcast. People will be able to follow and get notifications for when there's new episodes or when there's a new post or something. So I'm really trying to find ways to help people get their names out there, get promoted,
Hmm.
and do that kind of stuff.
And we
Um,
appreciate you helping us
no, anytime.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
we
of
need
just
we
for
need
being on here today. We really appreciate having you here.
course, of course.
yeah.
But no, I mean, this is important to me. So if you have seriously, like, if you have ideas or suggestions on like things that we can do that would help spread the word, help you promote, help you get in front of people. Um, I do really like that kind of feedback because then it helps me to understand what people need so I can do something about it. If people don't tell me, I might not ever know.
Is there
So
a
Mhm.
feedback is great.
possibility? You know how Facebook does like Facebook Live? We're actually on Facebook Live,
Mhm,
Twitch, and YouTube Live.
mhm.
Is there a possibility of doing like a slasher live?
That's actually part of that whole like video thing that I was talking about before. Like that
Uh,
those are 60-second videos like that are actually stored. but live streaming kind of comes with that to some extent. So,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure all that stuff out. So, it would be really awesome if I was able to sort of simulcast with everyone else. It's just finding the right tools to do it. We had a partner that we were going to work with to do like watch parties and stuff. They just shut down. And that was incredibly disappointing because they were connected with Shudder, with Disney Plus, with Amazon. I think they were connected. I don't know if they were connected with Tubi or not. They were connected with like Crackle, Netflix, YouTube. So people could like in sync watch like the same thing together. So I was really sad that doesn't.
Yeah, they're taking away that option on a lot of apps, or limiting it. That's what I've noticed, the simulcast. So they're cracking down all over. But I find every time a door closes, a window opens, right? Maybe there's just
Right.
something better in mind for you. Have
Yeah.
you ever thought of a way for like independent filmmakers to maybe upload their independent film where users can just download if they want to watch the film and give feedback? Really help them see if they maybe need to do some more work on their movie, or get the word out there about it. I think that would be really great.
Yeah.
Instead of me and Luna have to track our little butts all the way to different states and getting plane tickets so we can see these awesome independent films that we wouldn't get to see elsewise.
Right. It's so with the podcast and the book and the movies, we're going to give people the ability at some point, hopefully really soon, to add their own listings and stuff like that. So that way they're able to promote themselves, they're able to give people links to, buy their
Nice.
ebook or their book, buy their movie or rent it or stream it, check out the podcast. So we're trying to do all these things that are going to really help people get out there and achieve their goals. It's with video, it's tough because video is something that if you do it wrong, it could put you under. Because it can be expensive. So that's why I'm sort of taking my time, going, all right, how do we do this? How do we do that? And I'll just keep looking and digging and
you don't want to be embarrassed like Diablo was when they launched for the first time after tons and tons of beta testing. You don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, it's hard to make good decisions if you don't have enough information. It's real easy to make bad decisions. So, I try and make really solid decisions whenever I, think of like, okay, it's time for this, or it's time for this, or it's time for this. So that's why I'm not pushing video as hard as I can, just because it's something that deserves our respect and time and research, and when we do it, we're going to do it well, because we want to make sure that people get something that's useful, that's something enjoyable, and not just like, here's a thing,
Yeah. You don't want to take that one step forward and then you have to take 2 steps back because you rushed something.
Right. And we definitely don't want to go, here's video, and the next don't go, never mind.
Oops. But what do you, just to wrap us up, what do you think really unites us all with horror? I myself believe it's the true horrors that a lot of us, it seems, have faced in our lives, that seeing it as fiction and is like a release, or a validation, or kind of helps us work through things. What do you think the basis of those that love horror? Why do you think that's so philosophically, I guess you can say?
Yeah, I mean, there's what you said is pretty accurate. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you go on the roller coaster ride, and while you're on the ride, you're keeping your head off because you're getting like twists and turns and loops
Hmm.
and all kinds of upside down and all sorts of craziness. Um, but at the end, you come out, you step off, you get onto the platform, you walk away,
Hmm.
and you think to yourself, went through that, and here I am, you know. Um,
Hmm.
so knowing that you've sort of gone through something, so to speak, unscathed, um, you've kind of come out the other end. And in this case, you've come out the other end of that story, that movie, that experience, you know, that you sort of kind of lived alongside the people in the movie. Um,
Hmm.
and or in the book or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I do think that that's it. It's sort of that kind of relief at the end. And at the same time, I think it's one of those things where when you watch it, you can also at the end go, well, you know what? It could be worse. It could be that. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
so, um, but yeah, I mean, I do think that there's tons of therapeutic values to it. Um, helping people deal with being human, being alive, being part of society. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with in one way or another, and it can be overwhelming. And sometimes getting that escape, you know, to some people it doesn't seem like one; it seems like opposite. But for us,
Hmm.
it's that escape that helps sort of ground us and helps us to realize that, like, all right, you know, it's that's that.
Hmm. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
cool.
I have a quick question before we begin to wrap up here. There was a few features, one of them being the singles favorite, the slasher dating. Are we bringing that back? Are you bringing that
Yeah,
back?
yeah, it's coming back. We we rebuilt everything from scratch, like everything.
Oh.
Um, so that took over a year, and you know, we have designs for everything that we want to bring back, that we want to add, that we want to change. So we're getting there. I don't know exactly when it's going to come back, but it's going to, and it's going to be much more practical and functional than it was before. It was like super, super, super basic before, but you know, when it comes back, it's going to be a lot more useful, I think. It's going to have more features to it, be more capable, and I think it'll just be more practical for people.
Nice.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
one
great.
quick question, Damon. You spoke about branding. Slashers, an awesome name. Obviously, somebody tried to snatch it and get money out of you, and you're like, no, I refuse. I love that. So, what are you thinking? When can we expect some, some cool merch, some fun stuff, and some more branding?
I mean, we've got the shop now. There's a bunch of stuff on there. I'm trying to figure out like what direction to go with everything because it's a lot to um to have to make stuff and then warehouse it and then ship it and do all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to find alternatives to like doing like on demand or something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in seeing like what kind of cool stuff can we get for people, you know? That stuff's always fun. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can do and that I want to do. Like right now, for example, like we're going to be doing like this Indiegogo in September, and what we're going to do is we're doing what Slasher does, which is sort of bring people together and help people connect, right? So what we're working on is bringing a lot of the creators who are on Slasher into some of the rewards that we're going to be offering. So we're trying to offer all digital goods, right? So ebooks, digital downloads, or purchase movies, music, art, like desktop and mobile like wallpapers and stuff like that. So we're trying to do all these things. Somebody actually wrote a an exclusive song just for us, and it is awesome. It's awesome. I heard it today, and I like listened to it a whole bunch of times, and I was just like, "This is so good." So I
Awesome.
was just like, yeah, I was just floored that somebody would actually like do that and put that together for us. So it was really really nice. But yeah, so the whole idea is to put these bundles of digital goods together for people that are all from slasher artists and creators. So now not only are we, you know, helping get their name out there, and get them in front of more people, connected with more fans that may love their work, um, but we're also, you know, getting sort of showing people that this is what we do. And we do it on our platform, but we're going to do it here too. And you know, we're going to do the Indiegogo thing and see how it goes. Hopefully, it'll go well for us, and everyone will benefit from it. We'll hopefully find some people who discover slasher that way, or discover some really awesome, you know, authors or filmmakers or musicians or artists. You know, we want to just do what we do and keep making those connections for people.
Yeah, that sounds
But that,
good. I
yeah,
want
but
to
yeah. So,
say hi to our friend Derek who tuned into the show. He
Hi,
says hello.
Derek.
He says
hello.
hello from Ontario, Canada. We went
All right.
international, folks. We are
Nice.
international, worldwide. And he says, I'm more partial to old school horror movies such as 1922 silent movie Nosferatu,
Nice.
1931 Dracula with Bela Lugosi, amazing,
Mhm.
and the
Yes.
original Exorcist and Hellraiser.
Yes.
Oh, amazing,
Hellraiser. Great
amazing.
song too. Hellraiser.
As a old school goth kid, let me tell you, we watched Nosferatu on repeat because we were so edgy and cool and rebellious. So I get it. Nosferatu and Dracula were always our go-to for the goth kids at school.
Me
Nice.
in school, I had trouble finding the cool stuff like Nosferatu. Going from video store to video store. No, not there.
Not there. Yeah. I grew up in a completely different environment. I grew up in Los Angeles, so it was like very much anything was readily available, all those
Mhm.
subcultures and everything. So it was a different experience getting to hear Kat's story. She grew up on the East Coast, and I grew up in Los Angeles. So it's like very like black and white type thing. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
And we've just started a month ago, and we
Yeah.
love how embracing the horror community has been. Want to thank you all, and thank you, Damon, for joining us today. And I'm glad that you're seeing some love from the horror community. We all appreciate you and what you do. And you got a song now, so I'm looking forward to hearing that as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I didn't realize you haven't been on for that long, so that's terrific. That's really awesome. I hope everything
Yeah.
goes incredibly well for you both.
Hopefully the show was a little professional. I've been working on the graphics. I've been working on the backgrounds and our videos and everything. We're getting her brother to do our theme song because I just got a generic creepy piano violin theme song, but hopefully soon we'll have something a
Nice.
little more concrete. It's okay for now what we have, but it's not bad for a month in.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really
And we've
cool.
had a lot of really good viewership today. So, you guys, if you guys have not checked out Slasher, it's available on iOS and Android. You can download it now, create an account. It's super easy, and start connecting with fellow slashers. And everyone's been super nice. Like the day I joined Slasher before we even started the podcast, everybody's
Mhm.
like, "Hi, welcome to Slasher." And then on my very first post, you'll see, I think I posted like a little photo of me and like John Carpenter or something because I was like, I want to show off my best horror picture of us with John Carpenter. And people are like, "Welcome to Slasher. Welcome to the Slasher family." And I'm like, "Ooh, this is a family? Ooh, I feel so delighted to be in a family now." So I did receive a very warm welcome, and I think you guys will
Yeah.
also get a very warm welcome. Join, it's free. Um, there's a lot of people you can connect with about horror. You can even message Damon here. He's very
Mhm.
lovely. You can message him just like I did and ask questions, give him feedback about how he can make the app better. And yeah, it's been a great time on the app. I've met a lot of wonderful people. And I'm very happy to be using an app that connects me with other like-minded people because sometimes it's very hard, you know, it's very hard to meet people that are also into horror and might not be like ill, like
And it's
you know.
awkward. It's awkward, right, as an adult to make friends. You know what I mean? Even if you find somebody in the store
Yeah.
and you're chit chatting about something, you're like, so you want to hang out? It's just weird.
Yeah.
And it's like they want to watch like 21 Candles or whatever chick flicks, and you're like, no, we're watching Hellraiser. What the hell's wrong with you? You know,
Hellraiser followed by 16 candles. Ah, that's a good mix.
not my thing, but
That,
Damon,
that sounds like
do
it's
you
called compromise.
yeah, compromise. There are things. There are things.
Such as
I
the thing.
the whole Hallmark, there's Hallmark has this stupid thing where it's like Christmas in July or whatever, and I'm like, no, end it now. Yeah,
Halloween every day.
yes, Halloween
Yeah.
every day. Hallmark, I want a patent if you make this. I want my money, royalties. Halloween every day, Hallmark. Damon, do you have before we disband this lovely, beautiful group that we've created? Do you have any final words or anything you want to add about the app or anything you want to mention?
I mean, people use it for them if they like. Um, Make some new horror fan friends, or find some new stuff that maybe you didn't know about. You can check it out at www.slasher.tv, or like you said before, people could download it from the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, and yeah, it's totally free to check out and enjoy. So it's worth a shot.
Yeah. Kat, do you have anything that you want to add before we conclude our episode?
No, just super excited to see what Damon has planned in the future. And we really appreciate you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate having me on. It's been really fun.
Ah, we appreciate that. And thanks for talking about robots and how they're going to take over the world. I appreciate that. All right, guys. This was Delight and Fright. Bye. See ya.
Bye.